again. It's been a while since we've posted a travel video, but much like everyone else, COVID sort of disrupted our summer. But we're finally on our way for another RV adventure. Although we live in northern Ohio, we've never been to northern Michigan and the Upper Peninsula with our RV. So we're headed there for a week-long adventure. Join us. Good morning. We drove about an hour and a half last night and we stayed overnight at the Cabela's in Dundee, Michigan. It's a very nice Cabela's for the RVs. It has a really large space for RVs and there were quite a few other RVs. Definitely a nice stop, very dark. As you can see, there's a lot of space for RVs and there was a lot of openings yet. And there's the store kind of off in the background there. So we're going to drive about 4.5 hours today to our first destination stop, which is the Indigo Bluffs RV Park near the Sleeping Bear Dunes. Here's our campground. It's the Indigo Bluffs RV Park and Resort. It's in Empire, Michigan. Here's our campsite at the Indigo Bluffs RV Park. There's a picnic table and a concrete patio area. The sites themselves are stone. They're not perfectly level, so they're a little bit hard to get level, but not bad. You also get a fire pit. It's a very wooded campsite and campground. There's a lot of shade. The sites are pretty close together, so there's not a ton of privacy, but it's pretty nice. We have site 311. It's a full hookup site. Water, electric, and sewer. There's both 30 and 50 amp. There's also another section of the park called the RV Resort that only allows Class A's and Super C's. And those have full concrete pads and patios, as well as nice landscaping. They're more expensive than these. This site here was $40 a night. The campground has a little apple stand. You can get fresh apples. We're about to do a hike on the Empire Bluff Trail. It's a 1.5 mile round trip trail that ends at Lake Michigan. We're going to take a late afternoon hike up the Empire Bluffs Trail. This is one of the trails near these sleeping dunes. Now we've reached an uphill part of the trail. the Pier Stocking Drive Trail in the Sleeping Dunes National Lakeshore, and there's a neat covered bridge. Now we're at the Lake Michigan overlook. You have to climb up a sand dune to get here. And you're high above the lake. Really beautiful blue water.
Give me the impression that I won't scratch your surface. And I could walk for days, searching for your praise. Is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to clean your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make.
We're going to take another hike today. It's a short one. It's only 1 mile round trip. The Pyramid Point Trail. We'll see what we can see. The last little bit of the trail is in the sand, and then when you get to the top, you're in the sand dunes. So we made it to the top of the Pyramid Point. And this is the view.
Is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to clean your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time.
There's the Platte River and Lake Michigan behind it there. The water is super clear. Here's the Point Betsy Lighthouse. Nice fluffy sand here. To the Upper Peninsula. Just waiting to pay for the bridge toll. Hello. So we moved about 4.5 hours from Empire, Michigan to the Upper Peninsula, in Munising, Michigan, in the area where the pictured rocks are. So we're gonna stay there for a couple nights and we're gonna go to the pictured rocks. So we will keep you in the loop. So this is our campsite in Munising. It's a KOA. This particular site is a back-in 50 amp, 30 amp. It's full hookup. Electric, water, and sewer. You also get a picnic table and a fire pit. This site is right by the office as well as a bathhouse. If you're looking for really good Wi-Fi, I would suggest the sites in this area. The Wi-Fi is very strong. The sites are a little bit close together here. And again, they're grass and kind of dirt. But the location of them is really nice. These are the only 50 amp sites at the campground. There's other full hookup sites, but they're 30 amp. And there's no sites that have anything other than gravel. So there's gravel and then there's the grass. This site was about $50 a night. It's a little bit much for this site just because there's no concrete pad or anything. It's kind of just grass. But definitely it's in an excellent location. You can get to the pictured rocks in less than 10 minutes. So overall, not bad. The campground does have a pool that's closed for the season, but it looks like it's really nice. It's a really short walk, less than 5 minutes to get to this fall spot. It's really pretty. This is the Munising Falls. It's a very short walk to this one as well. You're able to climb to the top if you so desire. This is the Miner's Castle. You can see the pretty water along with the brightly colored rocks. We're headed on a tour of the pictured rocks. Here's the boat we're gonna take. It's a 2-hour and 15-minute trip. back to the campsite after the Pictured Rocks boat cruise. It was a very, very good cruise. Really nice views of the rocks and the trees and the shoreline. At this time of year, being late September, the leaves are starting to change. So it was very colorful from the boat, and they did an excellent job of explaining everything and ensuring that everyone was able to get pictures of everything. The cruise was $45 per person, and it was definitely worth the money. It was a 2-hour cruise, and today we had absolutely perfect weather. I definitely recommend it to everyone. It's a beautiful night at the Pictured Rock National Lake Shore. Bright sun, nice temps, just perfect. The trees are starting to change. It's beautiful. Hello! We traveled about 2 hours to the east. We're now in Sault Ste. Marie. We're going to be here for 2 nights. We're at the Owen Osborne campground. It's a very nice waterfront campground. And tonight we're going to go take a boat tour on the Soo Locks. So we will keep you in the loop. So we're site 96. We're actually second row from the water, so we're not considered waterfront, but behind us is nothing but a picnic table and an open space. It's not another site, so we essentially would have a waterfront site. This is a water and electric only site. This campground doesn't have any full hookup sites, but you do get a picnic table and then a fire pit. This site's only $30 a night, and although it doesn't have full hookup, the view is definitely worth the price. If you're lucky, you'll get some freighters that go by. Well, it doesn't look like we'll have to wait too long. We've only been here about an hour, and there's already a freighter coming by. I looked this one up on the ship tracker, and it's going to Quebec City. They literally go right past the campground.
According to the schedule, that ship was supposed to come through at 5:15 this morning. So it's like 9.5 hours late. So I don't know if everything's going to be that way.
We're getting ready to take a boat tour of the locks. Here's the boat coming back.
Ready to enter the first American lock, the MacArthur. Now, from 1855 to 1881, the toll to pass through the American locks was 3 to 4 cents per ton.
We're entering into the first lock now.
Into Lake Superior.
Now we're waiting for the lock to fill. As it fills, it raises the boat, and then we'll go out the other side, which is 21 feet higher than what we entered.
Charged to any shipper of any nationality. The Soo Locks are in operation from late March until the middle of January. At the close of the navigation season in January,
Takes 15
the
minutes
locks are drained,
to raise.
inspected for damage, repaired in the United States
See
icebreaker
how much higher
Mackinac,
we've gotten
and smaller
since we
icebreaker
came in.
types
We're
like
now
the
above
cast
the
iron
ground,
brake pads
where
to
we
the
were
ice, and
way
navigation
below the
can
ground.
Once again get underway through the ice fields
Very
by
cool.
the icebreakers.
Now we've raised up and we're heading into Lake Superior. This is the international bridge that you can cross to go to Canada.
And tons of incoming coal, taconite, and limestone, as well as outgoing iron and steel each year. Algoma's products are used in the automotive, construction, energy, manufacturing, pipe and tube, and steel distribution industry.
Now we're going to enter into the Canadian side of the locks. Pretty much the same as the American side, except they're in Canada. And they said these are no longer used by commercial boats, they're only used by pleasure boats. And there's no
The black
charge
steel
to
structure
enter the
coming up
lock.
to our left is the third side.
And now we're inside the Canadian lock, and it's going to lower us back down 21 feet to the level in Lake Huron. There's another boat in the lock with us. Take notice of where the land is. Kind of where the level of the land is. Now you can see at the top there where the water started at, and now where the water is. Take note of where the land is. Pretty nifty how it does this. Takes 10 or so minutes. Now the gates are opening. We'll proceed out. Here's the campground we're staying at. Right down the road from the lock. There you can see ours, the back of it, right there in the center. This is the power plant that powers the lock. Lots of big freighters starting already this morning. This is the second one we've seen. This is from our bedroom window. It's a long one. Lots of people out this morning watching the ships. Three-story observation tower for the locks. Currently only the bottom is open due to COVID. We're in the lock viewing location. There's one large freighter about to exit the second lock. And there's a little boat here in this first lock that's about to be raised. I believe it's the little Sault Lock tour boat. We had lunch at Maloney's Alley. It's a little Irish pub. The food was delicious and they had 20 different types of beers on tap. We're just walking around Sault Ste. Marie today. It's a cute little town. Lots of gift shops, little restaurants. Some hotels. And all of this is right across from the lock viewing. And this is the lock viewing area over here. Since it's the U.S. government, you do have to go through the security. We came up to the top of the Tower of History. It's an observation tower in the downtown area of Sault Ste. Marie. You can get really nice views. Here's the lock tour departure area. You can get a really nice view of the power plant. Here's the International Bridge. There's another series of bridges. The steel plant that we saw on the lock cruise back there in the distance. And then you can see the entrance to the locks here in the center. And right there's the downtown area where we were just eating lunch. There's the tower that we were just in. It's another big freighter coming by the campground. Another long one. Big one.
Oh, she's a big one. Wow.
This is the last freighter we're gonna see. We're getting ready to leave here in a few minutes. Hello again. We're at the last campground of our Michigan adventure. This is the Mill Creek Mackinaw campground in Mackinaw City, and it's a beautiful waterfront campsite, so I will show you around. We're in site 617. This is a full hookup site, and it's a site of the bridge, so it's called a bridge view site. But because it's a view of the bridge, it's more narrow down here. So you'll see that there's trees and bushes on both sides of the RV, so you had to get a little creative when backing in. You get a picnic table. And then sewer and electric. It's 30 amp connection. And again, the sites are very narrow, so you are very close to your neighbors. And then directly across this road here is a nice sitting area where everybody seems to gather with their chairs. You get really good views of the Mackinaw Bridge. And there's also a couple little beach areas. Here's the view from inside the RV. There's the bridge over there. This is the row of the bridge view sites. Well, that's our campsite here at the Mill Creek Campground. With taxes and fees and everything, this site broke down to $61 a night. It's a little bit more than some, but with the view, it's definitely worth the $61. This is site. There's tons of sites, and the price of the sites depends on the location. There are bridge view, there are just water view, and then they're inland. Some of them go as low as $25 and $30 a night, depending on where your location is. We drove across the bridge this morning to the Castle Rock in St. Ignace. There's a rock you can climb up, and we'll get views of the city and the surrounding area. Made it to the top of the Castle Rock. It's about 200 steps. Also at the Castle Rock, there's Paul Bunyan and Babe his blue ox. It's only $1 to climb up the rock, so not a big investment. It's a neat view. Here's the old Mackinaw lighthouse.